9 o'clock, 2 minutes after. I wanted to do a StreamYard in case anyone wants to join in tonight because I'm going to be crafting and it's easier for me to talk when I can actually hear. But the thing is I don't have earbuds for this phone, so I don't know exactly how well it will work. Hi, Denise. Can you hear me okay? This is the first time I have used StreamYard from this little phone. And I do not have earbuds for this stupid phone. Great. Hi. Hi, Priscilla. How you doing? I wanted to come on here because I've been crafting all day, and I wanted to show you actually kind of what I'm doing. I've just been cutting these into strips, and I'm going to half them here soon. But I'm using this color, a beige, just plain tan beige, and then I've got a small flowered. And I'm going to strip them and I'm going to make a primitive wreath out of coat hanger. I'm going to make it a circle, obviously, and then I'm going to make a primitive rag quilt wreath. Let me brighten my feed here. It's much better. Yeah, I took like an hour and a half nap, and I feel a lot better. It seems like my body is recouping now with when I get a little bit of rest, it goes, oh, hey, I can work again. And so it feels like it's trying to start to get back into the swing of things. I've got my hair stuck up on the back of my head, so just, but it's starting to get back into the swing of things. And I'm super thankful. The weather has made my ears and nose drain something fierce. I mean, like pine sap going. And so I feel better. My ears feel like they've drained a lot. And I've not had the nausea that I had been having, and I've not had the nausea I've been having, and I've not had the dizziness I've been having. So I've been doing a lot better. I was actually coming on here just to chit chat while I work because it's so quiet. I've been on YouTube kind of waiting, and there's like in Brooklyn, there's a little bit of a protest going on. In Brooklyn, there's a little bit of protest going on, and which way is this going to cut? But they're very small, and I don't know if it's because it's cold or if it's potentially because maybe people are starting to get the picture that the rules and law for our nation still exist. I certainly hope it's that they're starting to get the picture that the rules and law for our nation still exist. Now, all I'm doing is marking this fabric with little slits so that I can tear it, and I keep them about an inch or inch and a quarter wide. Honestly, the less perfect you make these things, the better they look. I always get tickled by that. I'm great with imperfections. I'm horrible with patterns. My mother can quilt anything, and I have to sit down and see what it wants to be because I'm one of those. And what I'm doing with this coat hanger, you can also do with a jar lid. Of course, jar lids are worth their weight in gold now, aren't they? Especially wide mouth jar lids. But if you have one that's too old and rusty to use again, you can do the same technique and make a tiny little wreath ornament for a Christmas tree or, a gift. I just have all this salvage quilt material that I need to use because I'm turned into my mother and I hoard fabric. Oh, hi. Are you kind of okay? Is it Kaya or Kia? But I love that it is followed with opinions. We love opinions here. Are you a newbie or have you just been lurking? I'm crafting and talking tonight. It's nice to see a new name that I have apparently not remembered or haven't paid attention to. I certainly hope I haven't missed you. So once again, I'm just ripping. The more frays, the better it looks. I'm not lying. I'm just ripping my fabric again. And there are people that do this and they make everything perfect. I'm not one of those people. I like imperfections. Like my daughter hates her nose. I love my daughter's nose because it's what makes her absolutely indistinguishable. You know, it's her nose. She could totally like dye her hair black and impersonate Cher and make tons of money. My daughter, if you put a black wig on her, she would look just like Cher. She's beautiful. She doesn't know how beautiful she is. This is one of my favorite things to do for my mother when I was a little girl. I felt like I was getting to destroy something. And I always hated when she cut something on the bias because I knew it wasn't anything I was going to get a rip. I like to rip stuff. She used to make a lot of like scrap aprons and stuff, and I used to get to rip what she would use to make the waistband and the neck strap. And it was always fun. I always enjoyed it. Now I'm going to have way more probably than I need, but that just means I'll probably have enough left over to make an ornament or two. And I'm going to go through and tie these, but I'm probably going to go through and cut them in half. Because when you're wrapping it around something as small as a coat hanger, it takes such little fabric that you just need so little. But the thing you have to remember when you use multiple fabrics is to rotate your fabrics and make sure you kind of stay in the same pattern loop. You don't have to be exact, but you need to kind of stay in the same pattern loop. And once again, when you make your circle out of your coat hanger, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm actually going to bend this back and turn this into the hanger, the actual hanger. I'm going to bend it back and turn it into the actual hanging mechanism for this little wreath. I'm going to wood burn. This is going to be a gift. I'm going to wood burn a name on a little kiln dried wood rounds, and then I'm going to beat it down and then hang their name in the middle. So all you do is you take your scrap, your little rip stuff, and you just tie it around it and pull it tight. And it looks kind of sad when you get started, but when you get it to filling up, it turns into its own little monster, and it becomes quite pretty. When did you get the what? Oh, the quilt hanger that's behind me on the big wall, on my wall. Let me see if I can pan without losing my power cord. That sucker, a big quilt rack. Is that what you're talking about? I need to cut some other ones now. Oh, my son made that for me. All of my quilts are normally king quilts, or I have so many that are like my kids' lap quilts that we've made over the years. My mom's made, and it's like she has embroidered messages in them, and they don't want to like take until they get situated. Like my daughter's in college, and she doesn't want to take anything of her memorabilia. Like one of these quilt tops was put together by her great grandmother, so she's like, I don't want to take my embroidered, old quilts with me yet. And I was like, just leave them here. I have so many quilts, but now I'm not as bad as my mother in that regard yet. But I have so many quilts that when I was looking at ladder racks, they were so little they wouldn't hold any of my quilts. And my son said, I'll fix that. And so we bought the big dowel rods that are pretty big at the lumber store. And I just got two birch, fir. Oh, what was it? Anyway, it's untreated 2x4s. And he made a ladder, and I just used L brackets and screws and put it on the wall, and it's got like a 4 to 5 inch gap so that the quilts can hang down behind it. Because I have way too many quilts for one person. I have become my mother. So many quilts. So many quilts. I like to do the tops. I do not like to put the batting and the backing and the binding on. If you ask me to do binding, I will cast you blind. I hate binding. My hands do not work well enough to do the specific folds and stuff. And they have little cheap things now. My mother is getting to where she's using those, but I'm still kind of old school. So I will just make a quilt top and either take it to my mom because she has a quilt machine and be like, here you go. Or I've got a lady that lives up the road here that does quilting super reasonable, and I will just take it to her. Let's see, the two befores. I don't know how much two befores are going now. They're untreated. You don't want anything treated in your home. The dowel rods were the most expensive. I think there's 4 on there. 4 or 5. They were like $4 or $5 a piece. And because they were dowel rods from a local wood shop, and I live in BFE. But the 2x4s, I don't know what they cost. It was not like it is now. And so it might have cost me $35, but it holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 or 7 quilts on it right now. So it holds a lot more than those little tiny blanket quilt racks that people think are so quaint. But mine is functional. It is. It has to be strong. It has to be strong. Denise, sometimes I will actually just buy plain fabric and use the fabric paints and paint quilt tops. If people have like certain things or certain animals or certain bands, like I've made Queen quilt tops. I've made I did a Freddie Mercury silhouette. I've done an LP face kind of portrait thing for her fan club. And sometimes I'll paint them and just do lap quilts and send them and get them quilted and heat set them so they last several years just painted. Probably 10 or 12. I've still got dinosaur painted ones from when my kids were little. And I've been thinking maybe about putting a couple quilts up to sell. But the thing is if I put a couple of the actual scrap pattern quilts up for sale on the Etsy shop, they'll be less expensive than what most people sell them for. But they'll still be pretty expensive because there's so many man hours that go into freaking cutting up quilt squares. I use a rolly blade sometimes, but when you get into certain patterns and stuff, you just have to sit there and take your time. And my mother loves that quiet, thoughtful time. I do not. So that's why she's more of the pattern person and I'm not. I missed a snip. But if you like lap quilts and if you want a cheaper lap quilt, I can do a painted top lap quilt. And either I do silhouette of deer or mountains or elk or stuff like that. It's super easy. I'm an artistic little fart. And I paint it, I heat set it, and then I'll go and have it quilted. And they're just like $50-$60 for a lap quilt that will cover the back of your couch and cover your lap on a cold night. Which cold night? It's freaking cold here today. Yeah, I've got a few in my cedar chest that were by my great grandmother, and I rarely bring them out. They're kept there as heirlooms for my children, and I've got one quilt that I've got to go send in for repairs. I was going to do it myself, but my hands have been so shaky lately. They're going to have to be hand sewn repairs. It's from my nanny Clara. She made it for me when I graduated high school and went off to college. She was not my nanny, but I called her my nanny Clara. Clarification. But I loved her. She loved me. And she made me a big quilt when I went off to college. And it was my favorite quilt. And I would use it anytime I would get sick. I would drag it out and wrap myself up in it, and I would immediately feel better. And it has just got so many places where the fabric has give, and the batten is showing, and the back is still good, but the front, some of the seams where she hand sewed it have given because I was really rough on it. It went everywhere with me. And so I'm thinking about taking it in and letting the lady down the road repair it for me, because I am not able to hand sew pretty enough right now to where I wouldn't even want to try it. Well, Denise, if you would like to have me make one, and you would like it personal to your home, your color scheme, or your decor, or something like that, or you wanted a muted color with a specific silhouette, or some people just want their really they want their I can speak today. They want their first letter of their last name painted on, like, where it looks like it's monogrammed in a real fancy way. I've sold several of those. And so if it, what I do is I do a plain top to where the monogram shows, and then I do a border or two around it to add color. And you can ask me, like, what colors will match your living room. I can try to go and find them and do the best matching as I can, and whether you want solid or printed materials, stuff like that. And I can do those fairly quickly, fairly easily. Yeah, I've seen when my great grandmother died and they were divvying up her quilts. She had actually had old quilts from, I guess, her mother, grandmother, that she had used as the innards for puff quilts. And I was like, that was resourceful. So yeah, those people back in the day, they knew how to make something live 4 or 5 times, and I was always impressed with their ingenuity. My grandpa was one of those. He was one of those that could make something become 5 or 6 things by the time it left the farm. I was just always amazed. But now, if you'd like for me to make one, and you don't want to go through Etsy, you just want to do like a private PayPal or something, I can make it, and you don't have to pay for it until I ship it. So have you seen the old timey puff quilts they did by hand? I don't know how these women had the patience. Like, I honestly do not know how these women had the patience. But I'm quite impressed with their patience. It's more than I've got. I've cut me some small strips, then I've not cut me others, and I'm gonna have to stop and shut up and cut me some small strips. Now, my mother's got the patience that God gave Job, but I certainly do not. This is actually what I do to get well. I go to the kitchen table or go to my craft room, and when I can't, like, super clean the house or anything, I can always sit and cut fabric, or I can sit and plan something out, or make a pillow, or make a wreath or something. My bad thing is I always give things away as gifts, and my husband gets mad at me because he's trying to load this Etsy store. He's like, "You give away $400 worth of gifts," and I was like, "Well, it's just who I am." And one of my best friends up here has been eyeballing something that I made this year, and my husband's been like, "Oh, I know you're going to give it to her for Christmas, so just do it." So my husband knows me well. My husband knows me so well. But I ain't never been rich, and that's, I don't really want to be rich. I like to make things, and I love to do photography, and I love to do any kind of art. My son does chainsaw art, which is, we only make, here's what we do for our family Christmases, and this is going to blow y'all's minds. When we give gifts, we only give handmade gifts. So when we only do handmade gifts and get together and have a meal, and it's handmade. So what we get is, from the heart, and something that we treasure and keep. Like, Lane made me a jewelry box out of he took a a birch tree trunk. Well, it was about that big around, and hollowed it out, drilled it out, and cut it. We had to cut a lid and put a closure on it and made me a little jewelry box. And that's one of my favorite things. I've got a shadow box that's got a chicken inside made of pebbles picked up on like a family trip they took. They picked up pebbles somewhere, and they put them into the shape of a chicken and gave me a Mother's Day gift. And that's what it was. I've got to turn this light off. It's killing me. But I don't do as much as I used to because where I've been puny. But I still like to do stuff. I do some of the quicker stuff. Like what I'm doing with this, you can do in 5 minutes with a jar lid and make a little wreath ornament. And they're gorgeous. And the more tattered the edges look, and the cuter they are, the more primitive and homespun they look. So, but we only do homemade stuff for Christmas. So we're a weird family. And when the kids, we bought them stuff when they were little, but when they started getting older and their focus needed to be on their families, their education, and so we just made this when they got a little bit older. We just made this the rule that Christmases are for dinners and family, and if you make a gift, it has to be homemade. And so this is going to be the first year that my daughter's fiance gets in on the Christmas mojo. Now, we deck the house out. My daughter is going to come up for Thanksgiving, and she's like, I know you don't feel good, but she's like, I'm vomiting Christmas over your house when I'm up there. And I'm like, that's fine. It's all in the warm house in the barn, so have at it. And she's like, I'm going to be making some sock gnomes too. I've got to go to the store tomorrow with David and pick up some socks. Those are really quick and really cute. Probably a few of them will end up on Etsy. But so her fiance is going to get his first vision of Christmas with us this year. And so they're going to come up for Thanksgiving, and that's where we get to prep everybody we get to prep him with the rules. It's all homemade, stuff like that. Which he's a great guy. My kids have picked wonderful people. I mean, I can't fuss. I like to irritate him. Hey, Wayne, how you doing? I'm crafting this evening because I feel a little bit better. Wayne, I know that Triple T and stuff is on tonight, and then there's a lot of lives, and I appreciate you popping in and saying howdy though. But you go on and go where you want to be, and you're not obligated to be here. I appreciate you saying howdy. I'm just trying to have a calm evening because of all the animosity in the world. Is that Caps Lockets? That's so cute. How are you? If anyone wants to jump in, let me know and I will send you a stream. Oh Lord, if you're gonna be a troll and tell me you won something horrible. Oh no, I'll buy it. What'd you get? What award did you win? This may turn into be a fun evening, y'all. If we never know where my mouth will go. Hi Gypsy, how you doing? Honey, you're never obligated to be here. I just like it when y'all pop in. I'm just feeling well enough to do some junk. So I'm doing some junk. I was gonna make a garland, but then I decided to make a wreath. And so I'm making a primitive rag wreath. See, it's starting to take shape now. It's starting to be fluffy. Now the longer strings where I ripped them, I will obviously cut those off. But the more frayed the edges, the cuter they are. I think the more imperfections, it's better. Smelliest perm. Perms are coming back, y'all. Like huge. They're coming like one of my bonus children's, which is a young man, got a perm, and it looks gorgeous. By the way, he's beautiful. But I was like, really? I was like, I haven't seen a perm since I was in like 5th grade. Make a Judy Garland. You know something? That would be the cutest little thing. I love Judy Garland. Um, if you could find Judy Garland themed fabric and then strip it to where you could see what it was and make it big enough where you could see the photos and see what it is, and it would be a Judy Garland. That would be epic. That would be great. I used to get, my mother used to perm my hair back in the day. I had just thick hair, and I would beg her every morning when I got up for her to cigar roll it in the back so it had big ringlets. And she got really tired of doing that because she was going to school and working full time. And she would not get in from work till like 1 in the morning and have to be back up. And so she was like, "We're gonna get you a perm." So there for a few years I got a perm, but my hair will either take a perm way too well or not at all. And let me tell you, I require a lot of hair care products when I have perms because I have thick hair, I have unruly hair, and so if I get a perm, it's quite cantankerous sometimes to deal with. I'm hoping that the cold tonight is what's keeping people quiet, but I'm hoping that it's going to keep them quiet long enough to where they're not going to want to come out and cause any problems socially. Like there was a couple of things, a couple of streams, and I'm hoping they're not just keeping the stream suppressed to make everybody think that it's completely quiet out there. But I just thought, there's enough animosity in the world tonight. It might be nice to get on here and do a chat and just have a calm crafting moment to where people aren't thinking about anything else. I will tell y'all that Country Christian is tomorrow evening. Put the Central and Eastern time slots in for me, sweetie. She's going to be doing a very important interview tomorrow on her channel for her area in Virginia about the consolidation of the schools and that huge multi-million-dollar Corps of Engineer loan and about the Virginia floods and the hardship on parents that this is creating. And so I'm going to mod that for her tomorrow. And it would be great if y'all want to hop over there tomorrow evening and join us. I think it's going to be at 5 Central, 6 Eastern. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm going to be modding that for her. And it's going to be, for that rural area, it's going to be a pretty big event. Humans are the only animals that wear clothes. Of course, some animals come with their clothes. But it is cold here tonight, so I'm very thankful that we do wear clothes. It is very cold on the plateau tonight. Okay, that was funny. Milk carton. That was hilarious. Did anybody see that TikTok where that guy and his wife walk out on the porch and the Ring camera catches her as soon as she walks out on the porch? She grabs the porch banister and rips the most massive fart. He's right behind her. And he doesn't even phase him. He just says, "Boy, we've been saving that one up for a while." That was on Savage Mom's TikTok the other day. And I laughed until I thought I was going to pass out. I really did. Now I'm doing this in super neutral colors because the person I'm making this for has a super neutral house. And so if there's going to be a pop of color, it's going to be on the wood beads, or she can add it later because I don't want to. She may want to dress it up with a flower for each season or something. So, but it's starting to take, I can't know which way, it's starting to take shape. And here's a tip. You can do this with, if you get clear plastic bags and rip them up and tie them the same way, you can make beautiful Christmas wreaths that you can keep for years and years and years that look expensive. I've got some that the kids made me probably 10 years ago, and they still look great. Isn't it funny how when you go across the world that so many people have so many different words for so many different things. Like I've got a lot of friends in Australia, and I've got a lot of friends in England, and so you learn a few different meanings to everything, it seems. And I always get tickled by that. But if you want to see that, that was on Savage Mom Life's Savage Mom Life's TikTok. I like to die. It was hilarious. And her husband, everybody's comments were the greatest thing. Like one guy was like, she didn't even stop and let him pass. Now he's gonna walk through the cloud. And I just about died. I was laughing so hard I was gonna pass out. But I love to go on TikTok. I found some stuff on TikTok. I thought about making a video and sharing, but I had one of my rougher days. But the day that I could not stand up straight and I was bored out of my mind is the day that I made the guinea pig video. That was the day I was really bored. Sometimes the trolls crack me up. Like we had one come in here and try to be super inappropriate and explicit, and I was like trying to get him to join the men's shave club. They get kind of frustrated with me sometimes. Like I like to play along. I don't mind having my chain yanked every once in a while. It cracks me up sometimes. I'm trying to get just enough to get at least halfway through tying these knots tonight. My hands are more stable than they were yesterday, but they're still not super stable. The other day when I made that little gnome who is hanging in my living room that I've named Dave Jr. that will live there forever, my hands were so shaky that day. I get like a Parkinsonian tremor on my bad neurological days. And it frustrates me so much because I can't see I can't do anything on those days. It frustrates me, and so my hands are doing actually okay today. So yeah, if you all don't care to like ask your friends and stuff, especially if they're Appalachia friends, tell them about Country Christian's interview she's doing tomorrow. And this is a thing that's going to impact a community greatly, and it's had such little press and such little representation from the people of the area. It really, it's something that happens a lot in Appalachia. They do these huge loans, and they create these big schemes for education, but you never see the education stats rise. You never see the colleges that they create. They're all out of state kids coming. Nobody can get in from in state because, and once again, while they're putting all this money into education, their numbers and their students are still not qualifying to go to their own colleges. That these grants and loans are creating, and it's frustrating to see Appalachia get money, but the money go to the big money that comes from out of state, and it's just like the big money gets recycled. Woohoo, she's got a wrench. She's going to use it. Oh, goodness. I have been also trying to catch up on Sharon's feeds with Down Under Crime Talk. She made, was it Doug? Was it Doug? Oh my gosh, I've slept since then. She made the poor guy that got harassed so much about the Summer Well stuff. She made him the most beautiful quilt. And when you watch her work her quilting machine, let me tell you what that takes, because most of them just have a laser guide light, or you have to be really skilled in making that pattern to make that pattern as smooth and consistent as she did. And it was great. She did a beautiful job. Oh, I think milk carton's okay. As long as you don't get nasty, it's fine. I think milk carton's okay. As long as I don't mind getting my chain yanked and jokes, and as long as you don't get too perverse. But we normally have a good time here, and there's some nights I talk about serious stuff, and there's some nights I just want to be stupid, And I'm kind of in the middle tonight. I don't know kind of where I'm going to land, but I just knew that rather than paying attention to the negativity in the world, I was going to come on here and do something calming. So here I am. And I think that Milk Carton needs to subscribe and become a normie to keep me laughing. You just need to be here when I'm on here. Just keep me laughing. I like people that keep me on my toes and make me think. I like that. Oh no, Priscilla's so protective of me. She's just so protective. She's like everybody's bonus mama best friend. She's just super protective of me. And you know, here on the YouTube, we've had a rough year on YouTube, especially people that have spoken up in, like me. I'm ex law enforcement. Don't hold it against me. And so some people have that have spoken up on some of the, like the Summer Wells and the Laundrie and Petito case. You know, some people have gotten really attacked and treated really crappy. So it's not, you know, sometimes it's nice to have people be protective of you. What? Nancy what? Oh my gosh. My daughter sent me something a minute ago, and she's like, what is, oh gosh, it was something like, what is the difference of a, um, a pig on a balcony and a Christmas ham being thrown? And I was like, what? And she's like, one is a ham you eat and one is a yeeted ham. And I was just like, stop it. I was like, don't send me anything else today. I was like, you're banned from speaking to your mother for the rest of the day. Y'all be nice to Country Christian. She's my buddy. She is my dear friend, and she's super protective of me. But we had a rough year on YouTube. There was some really bad attacks, and I guess they figured out that I'm just not somebody to, you know, I don't respond really well. I'm like, ooh, you scared me. What are you going to do to me through a screen? I don't know. I don't respond the way they want me to respond, so they don't play with me very much. But there were some that, you know, had some really rough stuff said to them, and even some threats. And so you know, everybody in our little community got kind of super protective for a while, and it wasn't really a bad thing because it needed to be done. Some of them were getting, and some of them still are getting, were getting calls from people trying to identify themselves as law enforcement and like threatening them, telling, you know, and I was like, no, I was like, they would show up at your door and serve you with something. I was like, they're not going to just call you. But it was a rough year for some people. It was a rough year for some people. So that's why Country Christian is so protective of me. And she was my first mod. She's been with me the longest. And she does kind of, you know, like, you know, we do see some trolls that come in and say some very vulgar things, and she's very quick to correct that. I appreciate her. So we're getting there. It's starting to take a little bit more shape. Starting to look. It look prettier when I hang it up and take a picture for you, because it looks just kind of like a poodle that ain't been bathed in a year right now. It's getting there. It's getting there. Priscilla's getting antsy. We all have to kind of take care of each other in this community, because most of you guys that follow me know what some of the other channels have gone through, and it's just been super negative. And sometimes I would just lay at night and think, you know, I would hear them cry over their streams, and I'd be like, I wish these people would just pick on me instead of them, because it doesn't hit me the same way. I'm like, okay, cool. And, but some of them really took it to heart because they're just, really sweet people, and they're just not used to the toxicity of people. I used to supervise murders, so I'm used to the toxicity of people. And I would be like, I just wish they would pick on me instead of them, because, I'm built better to handle it because I just don't care. But they never. I guess I'm not a good target, but it's okay. Okay, girls, pipe it down. I like Caps Lock-It. She's being funny and silly. She's not being hateful. It's okay to have some spice in life every once in a while, guys. I like a little spice. Y'all know sometimes I get a little wordy. I try not to, but every once in a while, sometimes you just have to say a word that needs to be said. And every once in a while it happens. But we need, takes all kinds to make the world go round. So let's all get along. Let's all get along. Okay, are you blocked, sweetie? Well, whoever blocked Caps Lock-It, unblock her. She's not doing any harm. She's being a good girl. Oh, that was way too long. That one was way too long. That one, way too long. Okay, good. Everybody sees you, Caps Lock-It. You're still there. Milk carton and Caps Lock-It they may be my entertainment for the evening. Maybe my entertainment for the evening. Y'all, I made it to a weird side of TikTok the other night. I know everybody's not alike. I live a very country, rural, strange life. Y'all know that. But I made it to the side of TikTok where people that actually rescue horses, like horses that have legit problems, like have injured people and that would normally be put down, they take these troubled horses and they rehabilitate them, and they do a great job. They're great at what they do. And hang on, I'm tying. And they were showing one that had injured somebody that they had got in, and how rank it was. And they said the only way to really teach this horse that people are not a threat was to lay it down. And that is that's an old tactic that the cowboys used. And I worked in barns my whole childhood. My dad was a farrier. That's how I put myself through college. And we had a few that came in that had that had been passed along and so because they were so dangerous. And we laid a few of them down, and the change that it made when you lay them down, and you do you desensitize them, and you teach them that I've got you in the most vulnerable position, but I'm not going to hurt you. The change, you can see it in their eyes. And these people were just screaming at them about how horrible they were being to this animal, and how awful, and they should be, they were saying horrible things to people. And I was like, do these people not realize that if it were not for these people that have these tactics and skills and the patience that God gave Job for these animals, these animals would otherwise be immediately put down because they have been deemed dangerous. And so I made it to the equine bashing side of TikTok the other night, and it just, and I know that not every, we all live different lives, and I know a lot of people in the city have never dealt with a half-ton or ton animal. But you have to have some pretty good boundaries with those animals, or they will absolutely hurt you. Do I like hot air balloons? I've never been in one. But I sense that this may be a joke. I've never been in one, but I have done 5 gazillion puzzles with them on them. Really? I didn't. So how hot is the heated air that goes into the balloon itself to lift it? I mean, that's just a legit question. That's something I have no knowledge about. So I'm going to put a wrinkle in my brain. So what is the temperature of the heated air that goes into the hot air balloons? Because I mean, that's just like, somebody Google that crap. That's interesting. That would be like a trivia question that I'm going to get some point in my life. I know it. Milk carton saying is not that many levels or cores of the earth. He's going with just fewer. We should like play Trivial Pursuit or something one night. Jeopardy. So okay, legit. Like, do you do the hot air balloons then? Is that something that you do? Ow! I'm on my rolly chair tonight, and it is not comfortable. Shut the front door. Like that poor man on Savage Mom's Life that followed his wife out, and she. I'm telling you, if you do not watch Follow Savage Mom or Savage Mom's Life on TikTok, she finds the most hilarious videos and reviews the comments on them. And I'm telling you, that was hilarious. See, I told you. See, Katri Krishna is just super protective of me. And we did. We've had a rough YouTube year. And I felt sorry for Ryan the other night. He did a video, and I could tell that Instagram kicked him, and I could tell he's had a rough last little bit too. I could see it in his eyes. He's had a rough time, and that's normally how we communicated, was through Instagram message. So I've not talked with him in a while, and I've not put his name in a live to fetch him because I know he's just trying to like get off social media for a little while. I think he's trying to Clapper out, but he's not doing too much. So I downloaded the app Clapper, and he's putting content on it. I'm just getting so old to following all these apps. I really am. I'm just getting so old, but I'm trying to keep up with him. But we haven't talked in a while, but I know he's going through some stuff, and I made that video and was like, if you need me, you know where I am. But it seems like everybody's been in the last little bit. Oh my goodness. That is okay, legit. That is something I never knew people did for a living. Never knew, like, I've never met anybody that has had anything to do with like hot air balloons or the making of them. That's amazing. Hello. We've got, is that the UK? Is it Colin? I swear, after this Vertigo episode leaves me, I'm getting my glasses redone. I swear I am. I can't have my eye exam while I'm having vertigo issues. And so they have to keep rescheduling. I'm getting really irritated because I'm really blind without my glasses. So the rag wreath is coming along just fine. It's going to look like a little primitive wreath when I get it done. Oh, look, I have a crown. And then I'm not gonna wood burn on camera because I will burn something. I'll like burn the house down or burn cords or something because that's just who I am. But when I get it finished, I will get it trimmed and get the wood round burnt and the beads hung. I will take pictures so that you all can see the finished product before I give it away. And I'm really bad to finish stuff and then give it away and not take pictures. And I'm learning not to do it because my husband squawks at me. Because he's like, I wanted to put a picture of it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's already gone. Which my husband went in after passing that kidney stone last night. He's in working a 12-hour shift. My husband is an amazing man. I don't know how he does it. I'm getting tickled. This has just turned into the funniest thing. About forgot the pattern I was doing there. About got turned around for a minute. Let's see here. I need to cut me a few more of these. Oh, there's one. So after we make it through Thanksgiving, that is when trapping season will basically start for my husband. And I should have had 7 or 8 other hides already put on the Etsy store, which if anybody wants to go to my Etsy store, it's my husband's store, but it's Hillbilly Heart Decor. And it is mostly where my husband sells his tan furs and fur art and things he makes. And if I make something that my house is too small for, I am not attached to, he'll put it on there to sell. We've still got some Cody's and a few beaver pelts and some odds and ends that I've got to post. I would have already had them post had we not had the week we had with the kidney stones and the death in the family, and it's just been a week. But we will be taking photos and getting them up as soon as possible. I'm not going to keep like a bunch of stuff up at one time, especially like multiples of stuff. But like if you are somebody that wants a specific color Cody, you're always welcome to ask me. If my husband, some people like the orangey gray one, some people like the blonde silver one, some people, in a rare blue moon, you'll get a black one. If you Google, and this is legit, if you Google Tennessee Red Wolf Cody, and you scroll down a couple things, there's a picture of me in a camo jacket and a ball cap that I'd flung over my head, holding a red wolf Cody cross. And when they put those red wolves in the Great Smoky Mountains, they did not stay there. They traveled their little butts right up onto the plateau. And the biologists from UT and everybody, they were like, we don't know where they went. We can't find them. Because the radar tracking, they were not in the park or anywhere near. And lo and behold, we had a guy that had come up and had one that was chasing his livestock. And so the TWRA guy was like, whatever it is, dispatch it. You're allowed to protect your livestock. And it had already killed quite a bit. And so they set out to hunt that sucker, and they got it. And lo and behold, we sent skin and hair samples, and it was one of those, it was a Cody crossed with red wolf. And they had traveled hundreds of miles up to our area. And so if we catch an odd color animal, sometimes we will contact wildlife TWRA or the UT biology people and be like, do you want skin and hair samples? Because they're looking at gray wolves possibly migrating and hybridizing down here. Because if anybody has noticed, we probably don't because I live a weird life. The gigantic beavers, which is hilarious to say that out loud, that are from like British Columbia, they have migrated south and bred in with the smaller North America, the southern North American beaver that are normally like 40 pounds. Now Tennessee, the average beaver size is like 70, 80 pounds. The state record is like 115, 111, 115. And we've caught one that was like right at 90. It was a big, oh gosh, it was huge. And we've had some, my husband puts rebar in the ground for certain traps, the bigger traps to catch the bigger ones. He sinks rebar in the ground, and they have big, huge, heavy traps. And believe it or not, we've had some just take off with trap rebar and all. It don't happen often because we don't want an animal out there wounded or anything. But every once in a while, you found a Goliath because they'll take off with everything. Colin seriously didn't like balloons. Colin checked out. Oh Lord. Who all here is married? What's everybody's ages and who all here is married? I am 43, and I am married to Grizzly Adams. I swear he's Grizzly Adams. Of course, I am such a buxom woman. I had to marry a lumberjack, so I look like a lady standing next to somebody. Y'all are cracking me up. We've got a unique group of people in here tonight. That is funny. I'm here to tell you, if when you leave this chat, go straight to TikTok if you have the app. If you have the app, and search for Savage Mom or Savage Mom Life, and watch that video. It's a Ring doorbell grainy feed, but that wife and husband walk out that door where they've been visiting somebody, and that woman grabs the porch banister to stabilize herself and rips the biggest apart. And her husband doesn't miss a beat. He just says, "We've been saving that one up for a while." And I thought, oh my gosh, they've been married for so long. I could totally see that happening around here. That's just, and it cracked me up. That was one of the nights that I needed to laugh, and it really gave me a laugh. I always said, sorry, Denise. Oh, it's Gypsy. Gypsy's never mean. Gypsy, you're never mean. You're a sweetie pie. Okay, Gypsy girl. So I also watch a channel called Gypsy XO, and she does like house cleaning, motivation, and I just find her really sweet. She's from Louisville, Kentucky. I love her accent. It's kind of like mine, but it's a little different, a little slower, but a lot of twang. And she's just beautiful young lady. And I watch her, and she is precious. And like when I have really bad days and I'm struggling to find the gumption to get up and do my dishes, I will turn on Gypsy XO, and I'll watch her clean her house for a few minutes, and I'm like, daggum it, I'm washing them dishes, and I'll get up and wash my dishes. I've been a dishwasher for like 37 years now, so I've never had a dishwasher. I am the dishwasher. I've never lived in a home where I've had a dishwasher. And the home I'm in right now, if I were to put one in my tiny kitchen, it would completely screw up my cabinets that I had a local man make. I won't do it because I had them made by a local craftsman. I can't do it. Oh yeah, if anybody struggles sometimes to get up and get your day going, check out Gypsy XO on YouTube. She is just the most precious thing. And she cleans like the devil is after her. And I'm like, honey, I respect you so much. I used to keep a super, super, super clean house when the kids were little. And since my health has kind of evaporated, I have learned that there are certain days that I just don't need to care. How much is my mortgage? Honey, I'm sitting on owned property. I'm one of the few, I guess. You lost your mortgage in the fire. Lord, that sounds like a joke or a very bad day. I don't know which one you got to make it be. And we own a property next door. We own 2 lots. If I could get one more lot bought, I'd own a hole into the road. I'd love to. But I reminded my son today that there was septic, water, and electricity on that lot next door, and if they wanted to build, they were welcome to. I'm not one of those helicopter moms, so even if they were next door, I would probably open the door and yell for my granddog Che to come visit. But I'm not somebody that would like open the door and run over and visit. I'm not that person. But I would open the door and yell for the dog to come over and visit me. He came to visit me today and wallered me. Yeah, but we bought and put it on a very short note and busted our humps. And it's one of the few reasons that with my health, when it got really bad and I had to stay home, it's one of the very few reasons that we were able to make it as well as we've made it. Because the way we raised our kids, one of us was always home with the kids until they got like in high school. So one of us was always home during the day. And so he would log in the mornings when they were in school and then be home by lunchtime and do all the evening parenting while I was a parole officer. And then while I was in school, before I was a parole officer, when I was going to get my master's in psychology, he logged and was like a fence builder, and well, he did a little bit of everything, and kept everything rolling. And so we are just tag team. Nobody's more important than the other. And I finally got him to put the logging and the firewood and stuff away because his arms and shoulders were just getting too bad. Because we're getting older now. We're getting older. We both had hard lives. And so finally got to put that away. But he still works full-time job, traps, fur traps, and does some meat butchering and stuff like that. And the man does not know how to stop. He doesn't. And when we first got married, we was poor as church mice. And we needed something. I think one of the kids needed an antibiotic, and we didn't have very good insurance then, and it was like $40-something we needed for an antibiotic. That man marched his butt in the woods, and he dug enough bloodroot. I've been yellow root. And he dug enough of it to go sell to the herb shop to buy that kid's medicine. And life gets more comfortable when I got out of college and we went on. And but he was always remarkable. I was raised country too, but he was one of those that could walk into the woods and come back out and have money. And I just always appreciated that. And there was one year we picked, oh my gosh, like 60 gallon of blackberries to sell. It was because we actually had the same days off, so we would make an adventure of it and go blackberry picking. And then I couldn't use them all, and I couldn't can them all, so we'd sell them. And we got to where we would pick them for people and sell them, and they got to where they depended on us every year. And there was one year we sold 60 gallon of blackberry. I was so sick of blackberries by the time that year passed, so I just couldn't take it no more. I mean, it was just I was done with them. I'd seen enough of them. I'm almost through with this, guys. Y'all have almost lasted through a whole wreath. That's amazing. As soon as I get the last couple here tied, I'll show you what it looks like before I start to trim it up and shape it up. And then you won't see it again until I get it done, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do to it. Let me get a couple more tied here, and then I'm almost done. I will tell you what I'm going to do with it to finish it, but you won't see me do it. It's too hard to tape. Okay. So we have it all done now. Isn't it cute? I'm going to fluff it like the devil for a long time. I'm just going to sit here and deal with it and just fluff it and tease it like you would a fresh haircut. And then I'm going to, if I've got any extremely long areas, I'm going to cut them to match. I'm going to cut them off where they don't stick out like a sore thumb. And then I'm going to bend this over, this hanger. I'm going to bend it backwards, turn it into a loop so that basically they can hang it on a nail, but it doesn't show it's behind. So it's bent over and behind. And then from in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a twine or leather, whatever I find the quickest. And I'm going to put some of those wood beads on it that are really pretty but neutral. And hook it to one of my little wood rounds. They're about as big as a mason jar lid. And they're kiln dried, so they will not shrink or crack or anything. And I'm going to wood burn either her last initial monogrammed really pretty or her last name. And I'm going to, it'll have a few beads where it hangs in the center. And so this can be displayed on the front door, back door in the house. You can put seasonal bows on it. But it's neutral, so you can accent, do an accent color with a clip-on flower or a clip-on bird. And they're super easy to make, and I'm going to have to cut some strings off this one and kind of even it up. But they're super pretty. And if you go buy one of these from a primitive shop on Etsy, honey, they'll charge you $70. And I'm like, it literally, I give you 20. I was like, I give you 20, I give you 22 free shipping. So people kind of crack me up with what they want sometimes. Now, if I were to use super expensive fabrics that I bought specifically for like color schemes and stuff, they would probably be more expensive. But if I'm just making a neutral one out of leftover salvage material that I've quilted from that I just need to use, yeah, it's a quick gift. It's quick something that you can sell at a craft fair, And you can also make them on little jar lids, and you make them in 5 minutes, and just put a little Christmas hanger on it, and use Christmas colors and have a Christmas ornament. Or you can do it on jute string or leather string and make the garland that people hang up in their kitchens for primitive garland. You know, the primitive craze kind of took over everybody. And I would see stuff and I'd be like, that is so cute. I want that. And it would be like $100. I'd be like, I don't want it that bad. And around here, you just kind of learn how to do stuff on your own. So if I see something I want, I will make it. And my son took up, I guess he got it from me because he wanted a big statue. And he is a tree surgeon, and he puts spikes on his legs and climbs trees to do tree surgery or to take them down if they're bad. And so he's always got stumps and logs and stuff. And he wanted a big carving, and they were like $490 something. And he was like, well, I'm not going to pay. So he just got his chainsaw out, done it himself, and now he sells chainsaw carvings at craft shows around here. And people are all the time asking for his carvings, and he cannot make them quick enough. He made pumpkins for the pumpkin festival, and they went before lunchtime at the pumpkin festival. All but 3 were gone. So your first job was cutting chromosomes. Oh, you're cracking me up. You're cracking me up. I love the primitive stuff, but it's so outlandishly priced. You can also use mason jar lids and do this in flower petal colors. And then get the inside of the mason jar, put like a few cotton balls, wrap it in burlap, pop it through the back and hot glue it, and it looks like a little flower. And you can get like a skewer for like barbecues and stuff, paint it green, glue it to the back, and make a few and put them in a vase on the table, and they look like little primitive flowers. And they want you to pay $45 for 2. And I'm like, that is legit $3 of material and a barbecue skewer. I'm like, no, don't do it. So when I see stuff I like for my house, I learn how to do it myself. And I don't like a perfect home. I like a home that's lived in, that's comfortable, and that if you walk in, you know who I am. So my home is very much me and my husband. And is very much, it reflects tradesmen of our area, of our hometown. And so when we've redone stuff, we have bought local and had local people do this. And all my cabinetry, which my kitchen is filthy right now, so you're not going to see it, but all my cabinetry is handmade by a local man. And that's all he does is make cabinets. And my whole life, I wanted cabinets made by this man, and I finally got them about 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago. I finally got them, and I love them. I love them. Yeah, everybody hit that thumbs up so we can get some more people in here. You can also do this if you want to take a barbecue skewer or a dowel rod. You can you can hot glue that into like a candlestick holder or a little votive holder. Just fill it full of glue at the bottom for about 1 inch to where it holds that skewer, and then start tying these up on the skewer and make the bottom ones about 10-11 inches long, and then make them shorter. Make about 4 different sizes, like 10 or 11 inches. 7, 8, 4 to 6, 2 to 3, and tie them and kind of mix and match and tie them. Put the biggest ones at the bottom though, and then kind of clip it to shape it like a tree. And then you can just hand stitch a little star, like a little. You can just cut out 2 pieces and stitch them together, and put a little cotton ball inside so it looks like a primitive star. And stick it right on top of the skewer and glue it, and it looks like a little primitive tree. And you can also do that and make Christmas trees. I may actually make a couple of those. So I may share a couple of those treats that I make. I'm feeling a little bit better, so I'm trying to do a little bit more. And I really do like to craft. I have a really small house though, so the crafts need to be like, they have to have a purpose when I make them, because otherwise my home just gets filled. It's just, my craft room looks like something exploded right now. I think they're full of it too, but it has been absolutely the funniest evening. I don't mind people to come in and make me laugh. I love it. Like, something with the way the world's going, if the worst thing you can do is make somebody chuckle, I'm all for it. Go right ahead. And if I need to be the butt of the joke, I'm a big target. Go right ahead. I have no problem with that. I think it's great. If hey, there's so many negative things you can set out to do with your time today, and if you just want to come in here and make people laugh, I'm all for it. You come in here and make anybody laugh anytime you want to. Just don't be mean to people, but make everybody laugh. We like to laugh around here. We're a pretty good group of people. So I have got several other fabrics and several other things I'm going to do. But I think that's about all the energy I'm going to put into it for tonight. I'm going to shape this up a little bit. And I'm not going to wood burn anything until tomorrow. So maybe my hands are not shaking as bad. Otherwise, I'll have to make Lane do it. And then it'll be done. So literally, I've got about 15 minutes of work left. That's all I've got left to do on this is bead the string. I'll show you the string. I've just got bags and bags of goodies. I'm going to use this leather cording. It's just leather cording. And I'm going to put just these beads on the leather cording, just a few, to hang the little wood round from. And I'll take a picture of the wood round. They're over there in the drawer. I'll take a picture of the wood round after I get it burnt. Now, you can also do with a styrofoam ball. You can glue a loop. And what you do is you fold it over and you glue it going both ways on the side so it hangs straight, and you glue it. And then you take like a paintbrush and you punch a hole, and then you put a little bit of glue in the hole, and you take a square of fabric and you put that paintbrush on the inside of the right side of the fabric, punch it down in there in that glue, and you cover it. You punch and do little fabric squares all over it. And this will turn into one of those really posh looking Christmas ornaments. So I may do one of those as well, because I have this from a 3-pack hanging around from years ago. So, oddly enough, there are going to be no turkey feathers or dead things of any kind going on this. It's the first thing I think y'all have seen me make that I've not put something dead on. So, we've done good. Oh, y'all are just getting cantankerous now, so I'm going to hush and let you get cantankerous elsewhere. I don't mind if you come in here and made us laugh. I don't mind. We try to keep it kind of family friendly, but I don't mind a little funny joke or a little, I don't mind extending my humor every once in a while. But we do try to be super nice to each other. Because we did have a rough YouTube year, and the entire true crime community did. It sucked massively. But I appreciate anybody that's coming here and done positive things, made everybody laugh. I really appreciate it. So come make us laugh anytime. And I'm really good at ignoring people that don't have the right energy. So sometimes people need to kind of hang around and get the vibe of the room, and then they'll go, "Oh, okay, I know the rules now." And so sometimes they just need to hang around and talk for a few minutes before they figure out kind of where the parameters are for our group and what we kind of do together. Now we're getting through it. But caps lockets, you've actually been kind of amusing this evening. So I'm sorry that you're getting cantankerous at the end of it, but I would welcome you, like the next live I have or some of my other videos, to watch them and kind of get the vibe of kind of what we do here. Because I certainly like the way sometimes that you articulate yourself, and I like people that have kind of a humorous spin. So I think that we would probably get along if you kind of got the vibe of us a little bit more, which, it's just, it's hard to learn people through a screen. It's really hard. My hottest flame, she's going up in the hot air balloon, y'all. It's going to happen. You have done ticked her off. She's firing up the balloon. You will see her sailing out. I will be on and off tomorrow because I'm going to be up a lot, because I'm going to have Lane here all day. He's going to be doing some projects for me because of Thanksgiving and company. So I'll be off and on, short spurts, nothing huge. But tomorrow evening, please remember about the interview with Country Christians channel. If you want to come and be part of that, it's going to be a very serious event. And it's going to be talking about the consolidation of 3 schools and Army Corps of Engineer multi-million-dollar note, and it's a big Appalachia event that has not had enough conversations about it. So she's actually worked to get this interview with this person, and so I'm gonna mod for her. So there will be no playtime tomorrow because I will kick you out. You have to be serious in that one. But it's going to be a very educational experience for people to learn about how government funds are spent and used in Appalachia, especially for these state funded schools where then the county takes over the bill and then they work out these funding fluid flow things where old buildings are turned into new things and they build colleges. But then with all this focus on education, the kids' grades never come up, the college entrance numbers never go up, and most of the kids that are from the area can't even go to the colleges in the area that they brought in by being the population there, because while the funding was there, the emphasis on education was not. Yeah, Denise would probably be a great second if she's free. Denise is really good at that too. Gypsy Girl's been with us for quite a while now, and I'm thinking if she sticks with us a little bit longer, she may be somebody I give a wrench to. She seems to read my mind pretty well. So, and it's nice to have like somebody that's like super strict and super, watches my back, and then somebody like Denise that is super informative and there with the links and stuff. That's great. And Gypsy Girl may be my person to just throw out reminders and watch for trolls. So Gypsy Girl, I think maybe the next time we do a live and I'm not through StreamYard and I know what I'm doing, I think if you would like to become a mod, you may be my next mod. So Denise, tomorrow evening there will be an interview, a very serious interview that Country's doing with a I believe it's a school board rep or a member in her area, and it's going to be a very formal event. I mean, it's going to be a chit chat, country chit chat, but it's going to be a very serious event. And she may need a second mod. I'm going to be there to mod, but there will be absolutely no playtime in that one. There serious inquiries and questions and talking only, because it's a very serious issue that's going on in that small Virginia area. So it's going to be a very special event. This is I don't think I've ever seen an independent interview from rural Appalachia about a county issue like this. Now, sometimes state level stuff will fall on an independent interview channel every once in a while, but I've never seen someone so rural take the initiative to get an interview with something that is really being swept under the rug in the area. So this is really, this is going to be a really big deal. So if you all have difficulties catching up, you can always email through me, and I will make sure that you get in touch with each other. So I don't care a bit to do that. So I will be in and out tomorrow because I will have my son here doing some stuff that I need done because I've got company coming in next week. So I'll be in and out, but I will be dedicating my evening to modding that interview. It will be a very special evening. So, and everybody, as always, if True Crime, Down Under True Crime comes on, go support Sharon. That woman has a heart of gold and is really fighting to get through the minutia to talk about all these cases, and the community, the chat community is super positive. Even when they have a spat, it gets resolved, and it's kind of healthy to see the resolution because you don't see that in everywhere. So you actually get to see them work it out, which is great. And they have a really supportive chat group. I really enjoy that community. So when I'm healthy, I try to get caught up on all of True Crime, Down Under True Crime's videos, because I get behind at times because of the time lag. Yeah, everybody go sub to Country Christian, and if you can, be with us tomorrow evening. I'm anxious to see see how this man handles himself and hear the answers to specific questions. Because at this time, the school board meetings have been very sparsely populated, and there's been not a lot of public feedback about this issue. And there's a lot of questions. This is not the first time this has happened in this area. It's like the third time. It's like a every 30-year thing. And it's very strange because there is absolutely no productivity in the community coming from this. So we want to know what's going on. We want to know why this is necessary, and we want to know why it's becoming a pattern. And she has been on this from day one, and I did a video about it and then got sick, but she has been keeping me up to date. And they've kind of stalled on it right now. They're going to force the issue into a court battle, is what I think is going to happen. But it's kind of stalled right now. But it looks like they're stalling it so that they can kick it on through when everybody's not watching. So it's going to definitely be an interesting event. Yes, if you want to look through I've only got a few things listed right now, but if you'd like to look through my Etsy store, it's Hillbilly Heart Decor. It's my husband's. It's mostly fur items. But if you see me make something that you specifically would like, I can make it and put it up on Etsy for you to purchase, or you can do a private purchase through PayPal. It's fine. Normally, because I am home, if I'm doing little crafts and it's something like, that a primitive would cost you so much money for, and I'm making, if you want one, email me, and I can make it and put it on Etsy so it goes through a protected sale if that's what you would like, or you can do a private sale. It doesn't mind. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. So, but I think that's about all for tonight. I've done really well today. I've had a really good day. I'm really winding down for the evening. And I'm going to check out and see how the emotional stability is in the country, because it wasn't that bad earlier. There were some protests, but they were small. Everybody was gelling pretty good. So I'm hoping it stays that way because it's super cold. So I'm hoping the people stay home long enough to calm down and we don't have a huge emotional, like we did, that created this entire mess. So let's all, keep our country in our thoughts tonight, because it's definitely a tough time for our nation right now. And a lot of people are having a lot of emotional issues today with the news that came out of Kenosha. And we just need to keep, no matter what your belief or your opinion is, we just need to keep everybody on our hearts, because it's been a night. So I'm going to say good night to you all. I will take pictures and post in a video when I finish this. So I will make an actual video for you. If I make another craft, I'll throw it in there too so you can watch it. But the weekend probably going to be a little sparse for me because I'm going to be busy getting my house in order for a company where I've been so puny. But I will be checking in, and I will be trying to check into Sharon's Down Under True Crime Talks. If I'm not asleep or not, I'm going to be checking in and trying to get caught up there and saying hi to everybody as well. But I think that's it. So I'm going to get off here. I've got to make a phone call. You know who you are. I've got to make a phone call. And I will be back as soon as my health permits. And I appreciate y'all spending your evening with me. And I hope somebody makes some wreaths and shows me some pictures. You can use old clothing, pillowcases, old pillows that you want to rip up. You can use anything to make these ribbon that you've got laying around the house if you've got ribbon. And you can use anything to make them. You just gotta tie a knot around a coat hanger. Super easy. So everybody can make a wreath and give it as a gift. People love homemade things. We have homemade Christmases around here. And we'll do another craft here in a couple of nights. So I love you, and y'all have a good night. And I'm going to go and chill out, put my jammies on. Mama Liz out.